Palab Ghosh, BBC News.
And just a quick update on comic relief. A total of more than £37 million has been raised so far tonight for Red Nose Day. The money goes towards tackling poverty and providing help for people in the UK and around the world. Time now for a look at the weather. Here is Chris Fawkes. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Rita. Well, today has been a day of sunshine and showers. The day's clouds have been gradually collapsing and melting away, leaving still conditions here in the Highlands of Scotland. Now, temperatures for Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales were quite close to average. In contrast to that, England had very mild weather, 17 degrees in Santon Down and in Suffolk. That was the mildest place in the country, 6 degrees above average for the time of year. Now, the low pressure that brought the showery conditions is now pushing over into Sweden and Norway, where it's going to be bringing some heavy snow to low elevations. We get a slice of clearer weather ahead of the next Atlantic weather system that's waiting in the wings. And overnight tonight, as that ridge of high pressure builds in, the skies will continue to clear. And for most of the UK, it stays dry overnight with light winds. It's a recipe for a cold night. Frost for Scotland, Northern Ireland and parts of northern England as well. Now, tomorrow morning, you probably get off to quite a nice sunrise across some of these western areas, the rising sun lighting up this lurking cloud. The cloud will quickly bring rain and strong winds back to Northern Ireland, with some splashes of rain getting into Wales and southwest England. Probably not too heavy. Across eastern Scotland, eastern areas of England, after a sunny and cold start to the day, the weather will tend to turn a bit cloudier, but it should stay dry until after dark. Temperatures for most quite close to average, 10 to 12 degrees, but 14 or 15 for southern and eastern England. For Sunday, we've got a band of rain that's going to be moving into eastern England. As that clears away, what will follow is very mild southwesterly winds. So rain initially, yes, across East Anglia and southeast England, moving out of the way, followed by those brighter, showery conditions. Some of the showers could be quite heavy and they probably will be quite widespread. So a reasonable chance of catching a downpour. Very mild though, temperatures 13 in Belfast to 14 for Glasgow, highs up to 15, 16, maybe even 17 across parts of eastern England. That's the latest. Rita.
Chris, thank you. And just to say that some of our viewers may have heard audio interference at the start of our programme tonight. Apologies for that. That is tonight's BBC News at 10. Now on BBC One, it's time to join our colleagues for the news where you are. Bye-bye.
Good evening, I'm Katie Walderman. Welcome to North West Tonight. An inquest jury has found that a Salford food company was the source of a listeria outbreak which contributed to the deaths of 2 NHS patients who ate sandwiches supplied to Manchester Royal Infirmary 5 years ago. Their grieving families have been speaking to Katie Barnfield.
My mum was somebody everybody went to all the time.
She was really involved, just a lovely, lovely woman.
Enid Heap was a mother and grandmother loved by her family. They have been waiting 5 years for answers, since she died in hospital, days after eating a sandwich contaminated with listeria.
Less than a week before, she was sat in bed having a chat. She was fit for release, and then I went back and she was unrecognisable. It was just a rapid decline.
The only thing that was comforting to take from it is all her children were around her and held her hand as she died.
Today, an inquest jury concluded the listeria was a more than minimal cause of Enid's death and that it entered the food chain at meat processing firm North Country Quality Foods in Salford. Enid was one of 2 patients who died after eating contaminated chicken mayo sandwiches served to them at Manchester Royal Infirmary. The other, 57-year-old Beverly Sower, who was being treated for advanced breast cancer.
We can only look at this day as a moment of relief and final closure on what has been a hard chapter for us all, but a moment for us to go forward and give us a chance to now grieve and maybe carry on in the way which would be suitable for her memories.
Enid and Beverly's deaths were among 7 fatalities across the country linked to the listeria outbreak in 2019. Both North Country Quality Foods and the sandwich maker Good Food chain that they supplied the cooked chicken to have since gone into liquidation. Enid's family say although they will never get her back, they hope lessons have been learned to stop anything like this happening again. Katie Barnfield, BBC North West Tonight in Manchester.
Next tonight, parents are demanding answers after being told the school they applied to for their children won't open in September because it doesn't even have planning permission. The King's Leadership Academy in Liverpool was intended to ease the intense pressure on oversubscribed secondary schools. So what's gone wrong? Here's Claire Hanson.
Competition for secondary school places in South Liverpool is intense. So Amira and Jennifer were delighted when their children were offered places at a brand new school in September. This week, they were told it won't open.
So can you both tell me why you picked King's Wavertree?
Because I'd heard that the trust had a really fantastic track record, and I'd heard some really positive things about the head teacher. When I met him, I loved him, and I just thought he would be such a good role model for my son.
And come this week, you found out that King's Wavertree was not going to open at all. How did you feel?
At first, shocked, confused. We didn't know anything about any issue that had been going on in the background. I opened my offer. I got offered a school that wasn't one of my 5 choices and couldn't understand what had happened. I was like, had I done something wrong with my application?
This is the school site, an office building. Parents were expecting temporary classrooms from September until completion, but planning permission hasn't been granted and the Secretary of State won't sign off the funding. Yet the Department for Education are the applicant for the planning permission and the council is the body that can grant it. Both want the school open, but it won't. Confused? So are parents.
Politicians of all parties have raised questions about how this can have happened.
It is completely unacceptable to not have received a response on a matter of such urgency and unacceptable for the department to have not raised any potential issues earlier.
The Department for Education says it continues to work closely with the local authority and trusts it to progress this project. While Liverpool City Council says we know that this will be disappointing to parents, carers and most importantly the young people who'd hoped to start in September. Jennifer and Amira's children have been offered places at other schools. They say they were sold a dream which has been snatched away.
Claire Hamilton reporting there. A coroner's office says the driver of a school bus which crashed on a motorway killing a 15-year-old girl died from natural causes. 40-year-old Stephen Shrimpton died when the coach he was driving crashed on the M53 in Wirral last year. 15-year-old Jessica Baker was killed and other pupils suffered life-changing injuries. A new report concluded the government is unable to provide any compelling examples of what levelling up funding has delivered so far. Analysis by MPs from the Parliamentary Spending Watchdog found only 10% of the cash to close the North-South divide is making any real difference. Blackpool's new £13 million Museum of Fun and Entertainment opened today. Showtown has been almost a decade in the making. It features Stan Laurel's bowler hat and Orville the duck. Next to Super League and St Helens travel to Leeds Rhinos, where they won 18 points to 8. And tonight's live show for Red Nose Day has been hosted in Salford tonight, raising millions of pounds for comic relief. Time now for a look at the weather. Here's Kay.
Hello again, good evening. Now then, this weekend it's a tale of two halves. We start off cold and frosty, we end on a milder note, and while there is rain in the forecast, we are looking at some spells of sunshine as well. Now, overnight tonight, skies are going to continue to clear, and as the winds fall light and the breeze is coming in from the north, temperatures are going to drop down to freezing or just below. So there will be a patchy frost in places tomorrow morning, maybe even some patches of mist and fog as well. But we start the weekend off on a dry note, in fact quite sunny until cloud starts to build in. So dry and fine to start, the cloud increases, the winds will strengthen and we get outbreaks of rain affecting the Isle of Man and western coastal parts and then across all parts later into the afternoon, with a high tomorrow between 9 and 11 degrees. Overnight into Sunday there will be some sharp showers, they'll clear through. Sunday itself we're looking at variable amounts of cloud, sunny spells and 1 or 2 showers, but the big difference is it'll be much milder again with a high of 15 degrees. That's it from me. You take care. Night-night.
That's it for now. We're back tomorrow tea time. Hope you can join us then, but whatever you're up to this weekend, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Super Saturday, anticipating, totally captivating. What drama!